What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Should They Make the Hall of Fame series. If you're new around here, first of all, welcome. This is a series where I have a look at different NBA players and their cases to determine if they should make the Hall of Fame or not, while also considering different factors like their NBA resume, individual statistics, and team success. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of my daily uploads. I post some of the best deep analysis basketball videos, and I promise you'll be impressed. As always, leave a like on the video so that it reaches more people that love basketball just as much as you do. Comment letting me know what you think of the video, and let me know which NBA player I should have a look at next, or any other video ideas you'd like to see me do. I respond to everyone, so don't be afraid to leave a comment. Now with all of that out of the way, let's have a look at the youngest MVP's case of making the Hall of Fame. D Rose, the Windy City Assassin. His name is one of the most recognizable in all of basketball. He has undoubtedly one of the best stories in all of professional sports. He went from being one of the best players in the league to suffering a career-ending injury to re-emerging as one of the best bench players in the league. Derrick Rose has experienced a lot of turmoil and struggle through his career, constantly taking time off the game to contemplate if he should keep going or call it quits. But this is Derrick Rose we're talking about. One of the toughest people and a hero to the people of Chicago. He used to be one of the faces of the NBA, and even though his time has unfortunately passed, we have to ask the question, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? Derrick Rose has a weird overall resume, but that can be attributed to the fact that his peak was cut so short because of his fatal injury. Derrick Rose was the most valuable player of the year back in 2011. He's also been a 3-time All-Star, made an All-NBA first team once back in 2011. He's also won the Rookie of the Year in 2009, and with that comes all rookie first team honors. His international resume consists of 2 Fiba gold medals. His NBA resume is the main reason why many fans believe that he should make the Hall of Fame. Oftentimes people talk about how dominant a player was during their peak. For players I've previously done on this series, those being Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, and Rajon Rondo, it's obvious that their primes were very good, but not amazing. When we're talking about peaks, no one embodies that concept better than Derrick Rose, as he was one of the best players in the league back in 2011. He beat out prime Dwight Howard, Miami Heat LeBron, and Kobe Bryant for this award, which is just insane to think about. Of course, many people argue if it was really him that deserved it or the story of being the youngest MVP that drove it home, but that idea can be saved for another video. Rose's career would never reach the same level of MVP status again, as his ACL and meniscus tear robbed him of his explosiveness and quickness. It's weird to think that Derrick Rose is only 31 years old and he should have been at the tail end of his prime by now. After all, he is younger than Steph and Curry, and we still see how he's lighting it up to this day. Nonetheless, out of the now 4 players that I've done in this series, he's unquestionably had the best peak. For his career, which still isn't done, so take these numbers with a grain of salt, Derrick Rose is averaging 18.4 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game, and 5.5 assists on fairly well efficiency, shooting 45.7% from the field, 31.4% from 3, and 82.9% from the line. In contrast to his best season, which was obviously his MVP season, Derrick Rose averaged 25 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 7.7 assists, and 1 steal, while shooting 44.5% from the field and 33.2% from 3. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it really does suck that we never got to see those MVP year numbers play out. Even with all of his injuries and seasons with reduced roles, D Rose has still managed to put up some pretty good numbers over the last few years. He's only averaged less than 14 points per game once in his career, not including the weird year in Cleveland where it was an entire mess. But other than that, he's put up some good stats, and he's been a great spark plug off of the bench for teams that he's been on. The only real downside to his game is that he shoots the ball inefficiently at times, and he's a little turnover prone. Those are all mere side notes to an otherwise amazing statistical career. And as I said before, his career isn't quite over just yet, so his numbers could get better or worse over time. Here's what dampers his chances of making it to the Hall of Fame. While he wore a Bulls uniform, he, along with the team, never had a losing season. The worst record they had together was 41-41, and he only missed the playoffs once as a Chicago Bull. The farthest he's gotten was reaching the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lost to the Miami Heat Big Three. After his tenure with the Bulls, he got moved to the New York Knicks, where they unsurprisingly missed the playoffs. In the next season, he was moved to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he only played 16 games before getting shipped off to Minnesota, where he only played 9 games. In the one full year that he played with Minnesota, they missed the playoffs, and again the year after, Derrick Rose was shipped to Detroit and they missed the playoffs there as well. The year after, he was traded from the Detroit Pistons to the New York Knicks once more, but this time he made the playoffs, having a crucial role as the sixth man coming off the bench for the Knicks. Rose never really got close to a ring, and it was almost a fantasy rather than a reality. He may be able to pick up a ring later on in his career as a bench player, but that all depends on if Derrick Rose wants to stay a New York Knick or not. Derrick Rose will forever be remembered as the youngest MVP in NBA history, and for what his career could have been if the injuries weren't present. He was being set up to be one of the faces of the league in a few years, but that obviously never happened. Many fans will also remember the game that he had in Minnesota that sparked the idea that a Rose could blossom many times, when he dropped 50 points against the Utah Jazz on October 31st of 2018 in a 3-point victory. He's still a fan favorite and a good player, but most of his legacy is going to be what ifs rather than what was. Most of the D-Rose Hall of Fame discussion is around what he could have been, which a consensus in the community was that he would be sitting as a top 10 all-time guard. But we can't judge a player off of what they could have become, but what they ended up becoming. Before we go on to the conclusion, I wanted to remind you to leave a like on the video, because if you've made it this far, then it means you're enjoying it. Subscribe to get notified whenever I post, which is daily, and leave a comment letting me know what you think of the video, and if you believe Derrick Rose should make the Hall of Fame or not. I respond to all the comments, so let me know which player I should do next, or any other ideas you'd like to see me make into videos. Now let's get on to the conclusion. Take the MVP out of Derrick Rose's discussion, and he has a pretty average career. No major accolades are sticking out, or any real reason to consider him a Hall of Famer. On the counterpoint, if Derrick Rose doesn't make the Hall of Fame, he will be the first ever MVP to not make it. It's almost like he's lived 2 careers, one being on track to becoming a Hall of Famer, and the other one being a decent NBA player, but definitely not Hall of Fame worthy. So that begs the question, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? It breaks my heart to say it, and I'm not even a Derrick Rose fan, but no, he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. He was a great player for 3.5 years, but other than that, not so much. Basketball Reference has his Hall of Fame probability sitting at 11.9%, and for the first time, I think Basketball Reference is actually accurate. And that does it. Let me know what you think of the video, and if Derrick Rose should make the Hall of Fame or not in the comment section down below. And as always, leave a like if you've made it this far. Subscribe to get notified whenever I post, which is daily. And as always, until next time, cheers.